Good afternoon as everyone starts to join us today. Thank you for being here. My name is Amy Vaught. I'm going to be the moderator for the presentation today. It's going to wait a few seconds for everyone to join. Okay, it's 12:02, so I'm going to get started. And just so everyone knows that's watching today, this is recorded and a copy of the presentation will be available if you want to revisit any of the information later. So welcome. Thank you again for joining us this afternoon. I've gathered a panel of my very competent Career Center peers to speak with you today about a number of things, and I will introduce them throughout the presentation. Again, my name is Amy Vaught. I'll serve as the moderator, but I'll also be speaking with you a little bit later in the presentation as I also serve as the Outside the Classroom Curriculum Coordinator. So I'd like to start us off today with some very significant dates. We have our Career Center's signature fall events coming up. They may look a little bit different this year. We're not in person. We're not there at the union decorating and putting up our balloons, but I assure you we're just as excited to try this out with all of you. Our first fair is coming up this Friday, September the 25th. As you see there, liberal arts, sciences, and business. Followed by next week, Wednesday, September 30th is engineering. Friday, October 2nd, can't believe it's October already, computing and information. So here with me first today is John Fry. He is our marketing and communications specialist. And I'm going to have him talk to you a little bit more about our events that are happening and how to log on and work with Handshake. So I will hand it over to John Fry. Thanks, John.
Thank you so much, Amy, and welcome to everybody that's joining us right now. Glad to have you here. As Amy said, I'm here to tell you a little bit about Handshake, which is the app that we will be using to host this year's virtual career and internship fair. So Handshake, the Career Center has used it for a few years now. It's accessible to all students in your My Pitt portal under the career management tile. And you can think of it as sort of a one-stop shop for a variety of Career Center resources. You can use it to see our upcoming events, to schedule appointments with our staff, and also to view available internship and job postings. If you look at the example screenshot on this slide, you'll see the event search function within Handshake, and you are able to filter by upcoming career fairs and locate each date that Amy mentioned of the upcoming virtual career and internship fair. It's very important before the fair to complete your Handshake profile. It's something that will prompt you to do the first time you log in. And completing your profile means answering all of Handshake's questions, including optional questions about work authorization. It means uploading your most recent resume once you have that ready. And it also means, in the case of the fair, updating your privacy settings to either the employer or the community level. And I'll explain why that's important in just a second. Now, the first step seems a little bit self-explanatory, but I think it's worth mentioning because past career fairs that were in person did not require you to pre-register. But in the case of a virtual fair, it's something that you do have to do to make sure that you're able to attend. Once you go into that event search bar within Handshake and you locate the day of the fair that you want to attend, you just have to click that purple register button in the top right corner of this picture. Handshake will automatically send you a confirmation email confirming that you're registered for the fair. And then it's going to prompt you to do the second and most important step, which we'll see on the next slide. So the way that you're able to attend a virtual career fair is by signing up for one-on-one or group sessions with employers. A one-on-one session is a 10-minute video call with one representative from an employer. And a group session is a 30-minute information session offered by the employer to multiple students at once. Like I said, after you register for the Handshake Fair, you will see on the left screenshot here, as an example, I picked Northwestern Mutual, but you'll essentially see a list of all the attending employers and the times that they are offering for a one-on-one session. Once you find an employer that you're interested in talking to, you simply look at their schedule. As we can see in this example, Northwestern Mutual has time slots available from 1 to 3 p.m. If I wanted to attend a one-on-one session with them, I would just click on the time that works best for me. Handshake will confirm that I want to sign up for that session. And once I do sign up, it will go in the Your Sessions column, which we see in the right screenshot, and that is available on Handshake underneath the fair description. All the sessions you sign up for will populate in this panel, and it's where you're going to go on the day of the fair to join the sessions that you've signed up for. You'll just see the sessions there. There will be a button that says join with video, and you can join up to 5 minutes ahead of time to make sure that your microphone, your camera is working, you're comfortable in your environment, and all that good stuff. As for the privacy the privacy settings that I mentioned earlier, in order to attend one-on-one sessions, you have to have your privacy set to the employer level. And in order to attend group sessions, you have to have it set to the community level. If you're not sure where to find that, Handshake will give you a prompt to do so once you sign up for your sessions. So they're making it easy for you. And ultimately, once you're within the session, it operates very similarly to the Zoom calls that you all know and love. The best thing about these sessions is that unlike an in-person career fair, there's not going to be any waiting in line, no uncertainty as to who you might be able to speak with once you go to the fair. It's all going to be pre-scheduled. You'll know exactly who you get to talk to and at what time. And if you have any additional questions about how this works, I encourage you to go to the events page of careers.pitt.edu. We have several articles and videos up there that help explain all the technical details if there's any additional questions. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Erin, who is going to talk about some career fair readiness tips and some other events that you can find on Handshake.
Thank you so much, John. Really appreciate that. And just to reiterate again, any questions, our events page at careers.pitt.edu to walk you through. And just a reminder that no matter if you are a first year here with us at Pitt, an employer even, or a senior, this is all new to all of us. So that is sort of a common thread that we can find as we weave through the virtual process. So I know it's hard not to feel overwhelmed. I'm sure many of us with career fairs in general put on top of the virtual, but we hang in there with us. We're doing a great job and working with Handshake. And I want to now turn it over to Erin Wheeler. She's our career consultant for liberal arts, pre-business, and social work to talk about some prep week activities that are happening leading up to the fair. So take it away, Erin.
Thank you so much. My name is Erin Wheeler. Just like Amy said, I am a career consultant with the Career Center. I specialize in liberal arts, pre-business, and social work. And one of the things that I really want to mention first is what you see on the screen is our virtual Resumania. So we have Resumania 2 times a year, the fall and the spring semester. And this year it's completely virtual, as is everything else. So the really exciting thing is that it is happening tomorrow, Tuesday, September 22nd, from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And I want everybody to be aware you do not have to attend for all 10 hours. All the Career Center staff are all hands on deck to help you review your resume and have it be the best that it can possibly be as you go into the career fair week. Just like John mentioned, you can register for this on Handshake, just like everything else that the Career Center does. You can register to meet with a career consultant, career specialist, any student-facing staff, or you can actually have your resume reviewed by an employer, which is absolutely amazing and a really valuable resource that we offer. So I would definitely recommend checking that out. Again, it is tomorrow, Tuesday, September 22nd. We also have a very specific resume review for our engineering students. And so that is going to be on Wednesday, September 23rd, 10 to 3. And it works very similarly, except it is all employers. So employers are reviewing your resume. You will sign up for that also on Handshake. So this is different than in the past years where you could just show up at different venues. So for Career Center Resumania, you could just show up at the Union, and for Engineering Resumania, you could just show up at Benedum. But you do have to register ahead of time for these events. And again, that is all on Handshake. So this is definitely something that I would encourage everyone to do prior to the fair. It's a really great resource, not only to get your information in front of an employer, but it can help you be the best that you can possibly be as you go into the career fair. Some readiness tips that I really want to talk to you about as we enter into this virtual world, right, that we've been in for a while. How does that look when you're preparing for the fair? And the biggest thing is noticing your background, right? So you want to make sure that things are clean, they're neat, because you don't want anything to alarm a future employer or anything like that. So just take a couple minutes before you get on one of these calls to look around and see your surroundings. The other thing is appropriate apparel. So you really want to make sure that you have clean, iron pressed clothes. It doesn't have to be a full suit, but you want to make sure that that first impression that you're giving is going to be really, really successful. One of my tips is to actually dress head to toe, even though it's above the keyboard look. It's just going to help you feel more professional, help you feel more ready and more polished as you go into the interview settings. If you haven't chosen a major yet, the fair is still something definitely that you should look into. I would actually really encourage you to take the opportunity to look at some of the employers that are going to be showing up, even if you're a first year, a second year, junior or senior, and you're just not quite sure yet. Use this opportunity to practice, to get in front of people, to talk on a Zoom call, to share your elevator pitch, to talk about yourself, because you want to make sure that you're practicing so when that job that you really, really want comes up, that you're going to be more prepared. So if you're just signing up for a slot with a random employer, that can still be really beneficial because you're getting sort of all of the kinks out and making sure that you feel the most confident that you can as you go into the ones that you're really excited about. Definitely reach out to our team. So like I said, I'm one of the career consultants. There are 8 of us. And then there's an internship team as well. There are 3 of them. And we can definitely help you with any questions or concerns that you have. I mentioned earlier the elevator pitch. So if you're like, what is that? You could definitely reach out to us to help you out. So this brings me right into our appointments and our drop-ins. So again, you're going to hear a common theme: Handshake, Handshake, Handshake. So you could definitely sign up for appointments on Handshake with any of the student-facing staff. We could definitely help you with a variety of things like choosing your major, or even what can I do with this major. So as I mentioned, I'm the liberal arts, which is a lot of studio arts, communication, English, and a lot of times people choose those majors because they have a real passion for that craft, but they're not exactly sure what they could do with it. How is that going to translate to a job? And I could definitely help you out with that, as well as the other consultants that work with their specific majors. We can also do assessments that work on your strengths, your preferences, and your interests. As I mentioned previously, we have 8 career consultants, and one of them is completely devoted to undecided students, which is really, really wonderful. So allowing you to sort of ask those questions. What do I like? What do I prefer? What are my strengths? And we have a couple different assessment tools that we use. One of them is the Myers-Briggs. We also use Strong Assessment, and then we are starting to use something called Use Science. And all of those can really help establish what is the career path that works best for you based on what you like. We definitely help with document assistance. So resumes, I mentioned Resumania, but we also do resumes every single day throughout the entire year, as well as cover letters and CVs. We do lots of workshops, and all of those workshops are going to be highlighted on Handshake as well within events. So we have interview preparation, salary negotiation, which is super exciting when you get to that point where you have that job and then they're like, "Oh, right, let's talk about salary." And you might be thinking, "I don't even know the first thing to do." We can definitely assist you with that. Internship assistance and searching strategies. So appointments and drop-ins, they can be accessed, like I said, through Handshake, but you can also go to my.pitt.edu. If you click on students and then you can see the yellow highlighted, find your consultant, that's gonna be how you can figure out who is my consultant. We have all the majors listed. You click on them and it takes you directly to our page, gives a little bio about us, and then a link to be able to set up an appointment with us. I do also want to mention drop-ins. So you might not necessarily think you know the exact person that you want to talk to. You just want to sort of have a touch base. Drop-ins are really wonderful for that. So we have drop-ins every day from 11 to 3, and you can just click on a Zoom link. Again, that's in Handshake, and it's going to take you to our open Zoom room that is helpful for drop-ins. So again, we have student-facing staff that can help you with any variety of questions that you may have.
Thank you so much, Erin. Before I transition over to our resident internship expert, Allison Kavaloukas, I want to just reiterate again some common themes so far. One, be sure to log into your Handshake account, whether that is just starting out and you're taking your career interest survey, or you are a veteran, looking at possible internship opportunities or job opportunities, and whether you've been in there quite a bit or just starting. Number two, please reach out to us, in the Career Center. Erin showed you, again, careers.pitt.edu, click on students, find your consultant, find out who that person is, find them early and reach out to them often. We're here, we're virtual, but we want to hear from you and we want to help. And you would be surprised, that the number of resources are actually growing and things are changing every day and we're finding out about new things. So we're here for you. Don't be afraid to reach out. We desperately miss you. There are some days we might go without talking to anyone except maybe ourselves or our pets. So please, reach out to us. So that said, I want to give Allison the floor to talk about everything internships. Allison?
Thank you, Amy. Hi, everyone. It's great to be here today. You may have heard of the Internship Prep Program, and I just want to give you a quick overview, letting you know that what this program is a combination of workshops and individual appointments designed to customize your access and your onboarding into an internship opportunity. The Pitt internship team is made up of 3 full-time staff, 100% dedicated to helping all undergraduate students with any internship related questions. We're here to help you to find an internship or another form of experiential learning, which could be research, field experience, something that's required for your academic curriculum, something that you just want to explore outside of the major that you've chosen. We can help you look for internships that are part-time on campus during a fall or spring semester. We can help you to find things in the summer in your hometown, anywhere in the world. We are here to support your mission, but we cannot help you if we don't know you. So the ways to approach the program are to just get started. So first year students, I highly encourage you to dive in sometime in your first or second semester by popping in for a drop-in or joining one of our workshops. We have 7 different workshops that we offer on a recurring basis. Almost 40 times a semester, we're offering workshops that you can pop in on. They're quick, only 30 minutes, but filled with, jam-packed with, in fact, really great hints and tips to help you to navigate your personal search. Then you complement those workshops with appointments with a member of the internship team, where we can help you to know more specifically where you should be searching, what's unique to resumes in your field, what is the timeline that might make more sense for you based on where you're looking or what your long-term goals are. At the end of the day, like I said, we can't help you if we don't know you, but more importantly, it's never too early to get started on this, but it could be too late. So if you're just getting this message for the first time, put connecting with the internship team or attending one of our workshops high on your list of things to do this semester. Next, I'm going to talk about Pitt Commons. Pitt Commons is not new this year, but something about it is. Pitt Commons is something you can easily access through the MyPitt portal or at commons.pitt.edu. But what it is a tight-knit network of Pitt alumni who are actively inviting you to engage with them for career advice, for mentorship, for connections, for information about an industry, anything you might want to do to help you to get more access to information about what your long-term goals are is what you would use Pitt Commons for. But new this year, just this semester in fact, is projects on Pitt Commons. So by going to the same place and looking up the types of experiences that they have, you'll find projects. Projects are similar to micro internships, which are short-term internships, if you will. A project might mean helping, the types that are posted right now include helping an organization with a marketing campaign, database conversion. We have SEO analysis, predictive analysis, animation projects, all sorts of smaller scale projects that aren't necessarily a 15-hour-a-week commitment over the course of an entire semester, but still an opportunity to network with professionals, build experience for your resume, and gain skills that are going to be helpful when you have interviews in which you need to speak about them. So I encourage you to check out projects on Pitt Commons. There are dozens of opportunities there now waiting for applicants, and you can talk to us more about it in internship or consultant appointments if you want to know more before you dive in. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you, Allison, so much. And before I hand it over to Lindsay Krause to talk more about the importance of building your network, I just want to emphasize again the invaluable resource that Pitt Commons is. So in a way, Pitt Commons has sort of taken the hard part out of taking that first step to reach out or to find a mentor, because mentors are signing up and they're joining Pitt Commons already knowing that they would like Pitt students to reach out to them. So these are alumni and professionals all over that are really looking to help you and answer your questions and want to share their knowledge and expertise. So it's a very safe space. It's already what it's set up for. So I want to next introduce one of our employment development specialists, Lindsay Krause, to talk more about networking during the fairs and beyond. Lindsay?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Lindsay Krause. Like Amy just said, I am one of the employment development specialists that work within the Career Center. So my other two colleagues split the STEM portion and I have everything else. So I have like a really fun job, like how I like to say. So I'm going to talk to you about connecting with employers. So why should you be growing your network? It's a great question. And I always like to say you can't get work if you don't network. So we have a variety of different events that do happen within the Career Center. We have our career fairs, our networking events, information sessions, Panther Shadows, Discover You Days, and Shadow in Your City. So I'm going to touch a little bit more on these too. So Panther Shadows are things that happen within the fall and spring semester. They are with different companies. Right now, since we are virtual, they are going to be virtual site visits. Unfortunately, we are not able to move into a in-person setting yet, but hopefully maybe by spring or by fall 2021, we're able to. So like I said, Panther Shadows are those virtual site visits that are from companies here in Pittsburgh base, or they're going to be from companies within, the Washington, D.C. area, New York City, Philadelphia, and maybe out west. We're in the planning process. So where you're going to find all of those site visits are going to be on Handshake. And like everyone keeps saying, Handshake, Handshake, Handshake. Another event that we do is actually geared towards first year students is Discover You Day. It's going to be the week of December 7th, and it's only for first year students. So this experience is going to be geared towards freshmen only, and it's going to help you learn about a company, learn about the different possibilities and job positions that the company has, graduate programs and things like that. So be on the lookout on Handshake for those as well. Another really cool and exciting event that we host is Shad in Your City. We've been doing this for many years, and it's usually in the May timeframe. So this year will be May 2021. We'll be focusing on the New York area, the Philadelphia area, Washington, D.C., and other large cities. In the past, we've gone to NASA. We've done them with the FBI. We've gone to other really exciting, companies too. So definitely look on Handshake for them.
Thank you, Lindsay. That's a lot of great information about growing your network and continuing to practice networking, which is a skill. So it does require practice, and it doesn't come easily really to anyone that I know. So I'm going to switch gears from moderator for a couple of minutes and talk to you about the Outside the Classroom curriculum, which is a unique program offering that we have here at Pitt. And the OCC, more commonly called, is a collection of programs and events and activities around the university that we encourage you to attend and take part in to really have that well-rounded college experience. But as you're doing it and having the opportunity to track and record all of the things you're doing outside of the classroom, without even knowing it, you're building some of your experience for a resume, and you are developing skills in different competencies. So the importance of soft skills, skills like leadership and communication, even having a sense of self and a global and cultural awareness, all of these skills, in addition to what you're learning in the classroom, are extremely valuable to employers. And NACE, the National Association of Colleges and Employers, they've done numerous studies over the years that continues to identify and validate the need for those competencies and skills. So the OCC is a way for you, it's sort of a pathway and a way for you to find activities, programs, and events on campus to help you develop those skills. Now, for those of you with a keen eye during this presentation, you might have noticed on some of our event flyers, in the top right-hand corner, there was a little icon and it said OCC. These are part of our goal areas. We have goal areas like career preparation, leadership development, sense of self, service to others, global and cultural awareness, wellness. There are 10 in total, and underneath each goal area, again, are a set of activities or tasks that we recommend that you do to develop these skills. So our event, like Resumania, and on the 22nd, tomorrow, and our career fair, Friday, the 25th, and those next week into early October, those all count for what we call OCC credit. Now, this is not to be confused with academic credit. This is a completely optional, self-paced program open to all undergraduates at the University of Pittsburgh. And the reason we've kept it not for academic credit or not as a required program is we want grad schools and employers, or whatever your plans after graduation may be, we want those people that are looking at you and looking at what you did in your college experience and seeing that you took the initiative to seek out and really fully take advantage of the whole holistic college experience. So, how do you get started? Well, I'm not going to say Handshake this time. We use something different. It's called Suitable. And so how you get started is you can log in either on the MyPitt mobile or on your mypitt.edu. I'll show you a little bit later how to favorite us, and you can start logging your activities. So you can receive OCC credit actually in two ways. You can scan a QR code at an event. Even in the virtual world, a QR code is displayed, and you can scan it with your Suitable mobile app camera. or you can self-report an experience. So looking here, if we're looking at the My Pitt mobile app, and you click the little Parthenon or whatever that's supposed to be at the bottom there, and go to student engagement and click on suitable, you'll be automatically redirected to your own personal OCC profile. You will see events that are upcoming. You can plan to attend those events, scan the QR code. A lot of things right now, most things are virtual and are on Zoom, but you would be surprised how many offerings we have this semester, if not more than in the past, because a lot of new options have opened up as well for self-reporting. And I'd like to mention LinkedIn Learning. This is a resource that it replaced lynda.com at the university. If you log into My Pitt, you can search for LinkedIn Learning, and all of a sudden you will be opened up to a whole course library of different videos. There's even a course called How to Network When You Don't Like Networking, Writing a Resume. So all of these supplemental resources to what our office offers, and a lot of these videos are for OCC credit. So that's how you get started. It's really by logging in, taking a look at what's upcoming and what the requirements are under each goal area. So there is a way to complete the OCC and eventually join the Honor Society. And how to do that is you must receive at least 150 points in each of the OCC goal areas. The website at the bottom, occ.pitt.edu, and if you go under how to complete the OCC, it really breaks it down for you to read through what to do. And it's a lot simpler than maybe it sounds when I'm explaining it, but earning 150 points in each of the 10 goal areas and then completing a brief Honor Society application, then you have achieved that accomplishment and you're able to list that on a resume as well. Then we take you through a short new member orientation where we show you how to list the OCC Honor Society on a resume and how to discuss it with potential employers or grad school recruiters, etc. Like Erin mentioned earlier, the OCC could be a great way to sort of start off your elevator pitch, or that short, brief introduction that is personal to you but covers a lot of things, which can be challenging sometimes on the spot, but the OCC is a nice way to sort of get that rolling. For more information that's specific to the OCC, a little bit more of how to get started, what it looks like in this virtual space, I invite you to listen to our podcast, our Career Center podcast. The first episode of Time Out with the Career Center is specifically about the OCC. So anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can search Time Out with the Career Center. The first episode is on the OCC, but episodes in the future will be other targeted topics, fairs, anything you want to know about a career center. So short, under 30-minute episodes. So definitely search for that and listen to us on there. And so I am going to have Erin talk to you a little bit more about, even though we sprinkled it throughout the presentation, how to contact us at the Career Center, just a comprehensive look at that. So Erin, if you wouldn't mind.
Absolutely. So like you've heard all of us mention a wide variety of times, you would like to really look in Handshake, see the different opportunities that are in there. So we have a QR code that you can take a screenshot of. You can take it on your phone right now so that you can be directed right into Handshake to set up an appointment. And we have the same thing for our drop-in hours. So I would really highly recommend scanning those right now so that you have them and you can look in, see what the different options are to be able to utilize the Career Center. You can also do our Career Center chat. So this is something new that we have started with the virtual world. So we offer that Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And the reason for that is to really accommodate people's different class schedules, and even more specifically, people that might not be within the Eastern time zone. So this is really to be utilized to answer very quick questions that you may have in terms of career services. So if you can't find a particular link, that this would be a great opportunity for you to jump on, chat with us, and then be able to get that link right away instead of spending a lot of time searching for it. So definitely utilize that. Resume reviews, like I mentioned, we have Resumania that is tomorrow, Tuesday, September 22nd, but we also do resume reviews every single day throughout the entire year. So you can either meet with a consultant by drop-ins or handshake appointments, or you can email your resume to resumes@pitt.edu, and we can get you some feedback within 2 business days. And the last way is our normal phone. So you can definitely call us. Our phones are directed to our home phones right now, so you can call any questions we could definitely help you out with. You can email us, and then I would really encourage you to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, so that you can find out the upcoming information that the Career Center offers.
Thank you so much, Erin. And just a reminder to all participants today that this presentation was recorded and will be available later if you need to go back and find out how to contact us. I also want to remind you, I mentioned earlier, adding some of our most frequently used applications to your favorites. When you log into my.pitt.edu and you search for these different tools that we've talked about today, Handshake, Pitt Commons, OCC, Career Center, internships, and Canvas, you can favorite it by clicking the heart in the bottom right-hand corner, and then will show up every day under your favorites, and you have quick access to all of this great information. So before we jump into a few questions in our last few minutes here, I just want to again thank all of my panelists, all of their knowledge and passion for helping students, and everything that we've all done, including our extremely resilient students, to pivot in this new environment and make things work. So if that's not the ultimate soft skill, being able to have flexibility and optimism in challenging times, then I don't know what is. So I'm really, really, really personally, and I think I can speak for the entire panel, so proud of our students. And we recognize that some days are tough, and you're managing many different things, and maybe having several Zoom screens up on your monitor, and dealing with a lot of things. So this is really multitasking at its best, but we're here for you along the way, and I hope this presentation has been helpful. So there are a few questions for our panelists, and I'm going to start with those that have to do with the fairs, since those are coming up, the first one on September 25th. So John, I'm going to ask you, what does it mean if an employer has no sessions currently available? If I wanted to go up and sign up for a session and none were available, what should I do?
Right, that's a very good question, and there's sort of a two-part answer. So if you go to an employer and they don't have any sessions uploaded at all, group or one-on-one, I know Amy, you touched on this earlier, but this is new for everybody, and employers are responsible for uploading their own schedules, just like students have to sign up for the sessions. Some are a little bit faster than others, so there's a chance that they just simply haven't uploaded their schedule yet. If that's the case, then all we can ask you to do is keep checking Handshake regularly leading up to the fair, and eventually you will see those sessions available. But this is also a good opportunity to remind students that these sessions are first come, first served. So if it shows that they do have a schedule up and you go to click on the available sessions, but it says that there are no more left, it could mean that all those sessions have already filled up. So act now. And if you think you want to attend the fair, and if you think that there's employers you're interested in talking to, go check as soon as you're done with this webinar, because they're going fast.
Thanks, John. That's great. And I actually have one more question that popped up. How many sessions will employers offer at the fair? Do you know?
Yeah, that totally depends on the employer, and it's another good reason to start checking as early as possible. They are free to upload as many as they are able to do, and the fair runs from 1 p.m. to 1 6 p.m. 1 6 p.m. 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. So some employers are going to have maybe around 20 sessions, others it could be a lot more. So just go and take a look, and it's totally on a case-by-case basis.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Allison, I'm going to direct this one to you since it was about internships. How do I know which fair employers have internships for my major? You're on mute.
That's pretty easy. When you are actually in Handshake inside of the fair, there are various filters. You can filter by major, by industry type, and one is by position type. So you simply select internship there, and all of the internship employers will be filtered based, or all of the employers who have internships will be filtered at that point. So you can start there, and you can do that distinctly for each day. And I can confirm that over 50% of our recruiters over the next 3 fair days do have internships available. If someone that you want to work with doesn't indicate that they have internships that they're recruiting for today, that doesn't mean you can't ask about it. It may not be what drove them to this fair, but it doesn't mean you can't still ask about it, ask how you can get your foot in the door, make a connection, because it still may be possible for you to create an opportunity there. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Lindsay, switching gears a little bit, how important would you say it is to network with companies outside of just applying and doing the normal procedure and going through the steps, but how important is the networking aspect, especially in these times?
Yeah, of course. So, right now we're in such a weird and difficult and not normal time. None of us have been through this virtual setting yet. So we're still learning and we're still going day by day of how things are, supposed to be. There is no right or wrong answer to this. But networking is really, really important, especially in the early career process, basically. You want to make sure that whenever you attend, let's say, a shadow or shadow in your city, an information session with an employer, that you network with them, you gather their information, you look on LinkedIn, write a quick message to them saying where you met, and then follow up with them throughout your career. Because honestly, the people that you meet now and the people that you meet maybe later on, you never know where that's going to take you and who's going to be in your circle. And it's always good to have a very big network because, like I said, you just never know who you're going to meet and when you're going to need them. But yeah, so it is very important to network, very important to be going to these events as well, because if you don't get out there and put yourself out there, then unfortunately, you may not get to where you want to be or land that dream job.
Thanks, Lindsay. Erin, I have one for you. This is a good question and one I feel like we get often. I don't have a resume yet. Should I still come to Resumania on the 22nd?
So most likely, this is a fantastic question. So most likely you have a resume that you submitted as you applied to college. And so it would be totally applicable to bring that and to get some feedback within Resumania. We also have sort of a guideline for how to build your Resumania. If you just do a Google search of Pitt Career Center and resumes, and it's an absolutely fabulous resource. So you can sort of start building that skeleton right now. Even before tomorrow, the September 22nd Resumania, you definitely have some time to be able to do that. One thing that I would really recommend is that you wouldn't wait until that dream job comes up, because what oftentimes happens is you can't remember the very specific job duties that you had throughout your whole college career. So if you start building that format and that template, for lack of a better word, right now, then it's a lot easier to add those experiences in. And we could definitely help you with that and help guide you to that as well.
And if I can add, Amy, that there are DIY resume workshops happening this week as well. Today at 3 p.m. for half an hour, and again at 5 p.m. are the first of our resume workshops this week. And we're also offering them again on Thursday at 3 and 5 p.m. The details are, guess where? Handshake. That includes the Zoom login. And like I said, a very quick 30-minute presentation packed with tips to help you if you're just starting to build one for the first time.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Allison. And again, there are workshops this afternoon, today, the 21st, and Thursday, the 24th of September. So, and I encourage you to, yes, again, log into Handshake under events, see upcoming, and you can register for internship programs virtually throughout the semester and other Career Center programs. These events also show up in the outside the classroom curriculum. So in your OCC, you can log in, you can filter by goal area, say career preparation, and you will also see that these are upcoming. Everything that we've talked about today in way of an event or a workshop, those are all for OCC credit. So a great way to get started on that as well. I want to stick with Erin for one more question here that I had. And it was, what if I don't know what I want to major in? Should I go to my academic advisor or the Career Center?
That's an amazing question also. So there's really distinct ways that both departments can help you out. So the academic department is really helping you with the very specific courses that you should take in order to meet the requirements for that major, minor, and certificate. Where the Career Center is a little bit more broad. What do you want to do with that major? So you can definitely come to us if you're still in that undecided phase and trying to figure out what is going to work best for you, what your strengths are, what your preferences are, different things like that. We can sort of help you talk those through. Like I mentioned, we do have a career consultant that is specifically for undecided students. So I would definitely set up an appointment on Handshake with her. Her name is Alyssa Camerata, and she would be happy to help you as you're trying to figure out what works best for you and how does that lead to your career.
Wonderful. That's a really important distinction. I want to ask two more questions before we wrap up. A lot of good questions today. Lindsay, this one is for you. So you mentioned some of the shadow experiences and virtual networking events. What are some of the benefits of attending these types of events?
Yeah, again, it's definitely about networking, and it's also getting to meet alumni. Within these events that we host within those shadows and Discover You, we do ask the employers to have alumni sit on panels or to talk to the students, which is fantastic. So it's definitely hearing from recent graduates about how their experience was within the University of Pittsburgh, where they landed, how they got into what position they are in now, and some tips and tricks that they can provide for the students. So that's really honestly the benefits of attending these events. And also too, it's just like I said, building that network and just becoming a better networker. Like Amy did mention earlier, you can't be a pro at networking. I don't know, there are some people who are really fantastic at it, but you can always practice. And it's always good for public speaking to get out there and get yourself out there too.
Thank you. So last question, I'm going to bring back to Allison, and I know we get this one a lot, especially since many internships have gone remote during this time. So if an internship is required for my major, how do I make sure that I'm getting credit for a remote internship?
In order to get credit for any internship, you first have to meet with your academic advisor in the department of your declared major and talk to him about that position and make sure that it meets the criteria for that department in order to then register for the course credits. So ultimately, it will be through a conversation with your academic advisor on whether or not that would be approved. The fact that internships are remote is actually welcome and a blessing in these times to help students to meet those requirements in their majors. So I would not approach that conversation with any trepidation. You're more than anything making sure that the skills that you'll be gaining and the type of mentorship and supervision you're getting are going to meet the criteria of the department. So we're happy to be your first point of contact if you want to ask any other questions first, but ultimately you should be connecting with your academic advisor and getting everything approved, hopefully before the start of the semester, but you must be registered for those credits for any given term in time for the add drop period deadline.
Thank you, Allison. I want to take this opportunity if any of my panelists would like to add anything else or something that we didn't cover or touch on. You may do that now. Okay, if we're all good. There is just one thing I would like to add, speaking of unpaid internships specifically, and this is something that is a benefit that comes with completing the outside the classroom curriculum, the OCC. Among the benefits, joining the Honor Society and receive a green cord for graduation when we are able to walk again in person. That day will come. We also offer something called the OCC Advantage Grant, and that is a $1,500 stipend for students that have completed the OCC. That makes you eligible to apply, and it can be used toward a summer experiential learning opportunity that is unpaid. So I want to mention that even though many internships, like Allison said, we're thankful and grateful that they are continuing to be offered, and employers are adjusting and pivoting and able to still host internships virtually, that if you've completed the OCC or you're working to complete it, you'll be eligible to apply for that stipend to offset some of the costs and associated with your unpaid experience, and in lieu of having a paying job over the summer. So again, you can visit occ.pitt.edu. It's under Honor Society, and you'll see the link to the OCC Advantage Grant. If we didn't get to your question today, or you think of one after this presentation, please feel free to reach out to us in the ways that we mentioned during the presentation, and you see our contact slide here. We thank you very much again for joining us this afternoon. I'd like to thank each of my panelists for being here and sharing their knowledge. And we very much hope to see you all on the 22nd for Resumania, on the 25th for our first fair, and then into next week, October 1st, end of September for our fairs to continue. So thank you all again. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and a good week.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.